So students, in the last lecture, we have calculated torque and as well as electric potential energy of the dipole placed in uniform electric field. In today's session, we are going to learn few more things about electric dipole, and if time permits, I'll introduce Gauss law also. Now, SHM, simple harmonic motion of electric dipole placed in uniform electric field. So you are placing a dipole in uniform electric field, and that will be executing simple harmonic motion. So how it exhibits simple harmonic motion, first I will explain, and after that we need to find out equation for time period of simple harmonic motion of the electric dipole placed in uniform electric field. As we have already seen in the previous case, like whenever you are placing an electric dipole in uniform electric field, translational force F net translational net force, it is experiencing 0. Translational net force is 0 because right side it is positive force and left side it is negative. So because of that, both get cancelled with each other. As a result, dipole cannot move in the straight line path. So remember that dipole cannot move in straight line path. But as a whole, dipole is a quantity, right? Dipole is a vector quantity. So when you are placing such dipole as a whole, if you are considering dipole as one system, instead of not treating it as individual charges, you treat dipole as one system. So that dipole vector, as it is vector quantity, and when it is placed in uniform electric field, definitely it will be experiencing some torque rather than force. It will be experiencing a torque. Because of that torque, it rotates. Now what I do, you have a dipole. See, in this figure we have one dipole. Here it is minus q charge and here it is plus q charge. Net translational force is however 0. Now what this dipole is making an angle pi with respect to x-axis. Okay, so with x-axis this dipole vector is making an angle pi. Now what I am doing is I'll just disturb the dipole by some particular angle. Okay, so I'll just disturb this by some particular angle, or even you can take initially dipole along the horizontal. You are disturbing the dipole from the horizontal position and you are making it inclined to an angle pi as shown in the figure. So you can do anything, like if it is initially placed at an angle pi, then you will be disturbing that by some more angle. Suppose if it is initially horizontal, then you will be disturbing that dipole by inclining it with inclining by an angle pi with respect to horizontal. Okay, you should disturb it from its actual position. So generally dipole will be placed in the horizontal, like whenever you are placing dipole in uniform electric field, and if it is initially horizontal, you are making it inclined by an angle pi. So you are disturbing it. When you are inclining it by an angle pi, there will be torque experienced by the dipole, right? So if dipole is slightly disturbed from its position by an angle pi, because of restoring torque, it try to come back to original position. Okay, so this is very important thing you should understand. So whenever you are disturbing the dipole from its original position by an angle pi, then because of the restoring electric torque acting on this dipole, it will be trying to restore to its original position. So that means, for example, if initially dipole vector is in this direction and electric field is also in the same direction. Now what you are doing, you are disturbing this dipole by an angle pi, like you are changing the orientation of the dipole to this particular angle by an angle pi. Now when you are restoring it by an angle pi, now p bar becomes this way. Because of rotational torque, what would happen? This dipole will again try to come back to its original position. Now after coming to original position, it has moment of inertia. Okay, so it already has moment of inertia, and as also it has inertia of motion at this horizontal position. Because of that inertia of motion, what would happen? This dipole tend to continue its path from horizontal to another angle. Usually this will be pi. Okay, now when it is disturbed again by an angle pi in downward direction, restoring torque will bring this dipole vector p bar again to the horizontal position. Okay, so from the horizontal position, net torque will be equal to 0, but because of inertia of motion, it continued to move up to angle pi, right? Therefore, whenever you are placing a dipole in uniform electric field, and if you just disturb it by an angle pi, due to restoring torque and inertia of motion, the dipole will be executing to and fro motion, right? Therefore, this dipole will exhibit simple harmonic motion. Okay, now I want to find out what is equation for time period of this simple harmonic motion. So as we know, tau restoring torque acting on the dipole is equal to, how much is the torque acting over here? It is Pe sine pi. Angle of this dipole with uniform electric field is pi. So Pe sine pi. What I am doing here, I am bringing this dipole inclined by very small angle. So for small angles, sine pi is nearly equal to pi. Therefore, you can write tau restoring is equal to Pe into pi. And remember, this torque is restoring torque. Restoring torque will be always acting in opposite direction to that of actual motion of the dipole. So what you are trying to do, you are trying to change the dipole angle by pi in above direction. From with respect to x-axis, you are rotating it towards positive y-axis. But what is restoring torque doing? Restoring torque is tending to bring it in opposite direction to that of your inclination angle. So therefore, usually restoring torque should be taken as negative. Okay, this is restoring torque. Let me take this as equation number 1. Okay, now from rotational motion, we have equation. From rotational motion, we have equation for torque. Tau is equal to I alpha, where I is moment of inertia and alpha is angular acceleration, right? Take this as equation number 2. So magnitude of tau restoring should be equal to this torque acting on the body. So what I do, I'll equate those two. I alpha is equal to minus Pe into pi. From here, alpha is equal to minus Pe divided by I into pi. Okay. Now P is dipole moment, that is constant. E is uniform electric field, that is constant. I is moment of inertia of the dipole, that is also constant. All these parameters are constants. So simply I will be writing it as alpha is equal to minus of some constant omega square into this pi. Okay. Seeing this equation, you can remember equation of SHM which you have learned in class 11th. Alpha is equal to minus omega square pi. What does it mean? It represents SHM. This is equation for simple harmonic motion. And omega square can be equated to PE divided by I, and omega is equal to under root PE divided by I. Omega is equal to 2 pi by T, right? So therefore you can write it as 2 pi divided by T is equal to under root PE by I. From here you can find out equation for time period, and that time period T is equal to 2 pi under root I divided by P into E. This is equation for time period of simple harmonic motion exhibited by the dipole placed in uniform electric field. And remember that I is moment of inertia. I is equal to moment of inertia. P is dipole moment, and E is magnitude of uniform electric field. 2 pi is however constant. So this is equation for time period of the dipole placed in uniform electric field exhibiting simple harmonic motion. Very, very important equation. You need to remember this in order to solve problems. Now let us find out equation for distributed dipoles. Like dipole moment, I want to find out dipole moment for a distributed dipole. A distributed dipole is such a way that one charge is positive and the other one is negative, but any one of those two charges can be extended. Like it can be extended charge, just like I shown here. This is figure 1 and this is figure 2. In figure 1, see, we have positive charge and there is one negative charge over here. Here it is minus Q charge and here it is plus Q charge. Now plus Q charge is uniformly distributed on this circular arc. What is the total magnitude of these two charges are equal, right? Plus Q and minus Q. And the separation between these two charges are constant at any particular point. So therefore this satisfies the condition of electric dipole. Now this is called as a distributed dipole. Similarly, in figure 2 we have a point charge here. This can be minus Q and it is plus Q. One is plus Q and the other one is minus Q. Separation between those two charges is always constant. Like you can take one element over here, you can take one element over here, you can take one element over here, you can take one element over here. Anywhere if you take element of this plus Q charge, the separation from minus Q charge is always equal, and that is constant R. And magnitude of both the charges are equal, but they are in opposite sign. So this satisfies the condition of electric dipole moment. Therefore, this is a distributed dipole. So these two are examples of distributed dipoles. I want to now find out dipole moment of distributed dipoles. So we have basic relation for electric dipole. What it is? P bar is equal to Q into 2 times A. So if you are considering from the center to one charge as A, then total distance will be 2A. So P bar will be equal to 2 times A bar. This you should remember. Or if you are considering total distance as A, then you can write it as P bar is equal to Q into separation. Whatever the separation it may be between two charges. It may be A or 2A or 4A, any length it can be. Now this is the basic relation we will be using in order to find out dipole moment because of this distributed dipoles. Okay. Now for that, let me take in this figure 1. This is x-axis, and of course there will be y-axis over here. Now in this distributed dipole, let us take one small element. This is one small element. This element has charge dq as it is positive. It has positive charge dq. Now this dq is subtending some angle. This dq is subtending some angle. That angle I am considering it as d pi. That angle I am considering it as d pi. Total charge distributed is capital Q and that small q, and that charge is distributed over the angle pi radian. So I can now write lambda is equal to Q divided by pi. Why I am writing pi here? Because the total angle distributed by this charge is equal to 180 degrees. Whereas in the figure 2, the total angle distributed over here will be 90 degrees. right? This is 90. So for the figure 1, this is for figure 1. I'm doing it for figure 1. So lambda will be equal to q by pi. Lambda will be equal to dq divided by what is angle subtended by this very small element? It is d pi. So here you can write dq is equal to q divided by pi into d pi. Right? Now let me take this as equation number 1. Fine. Now we have got one small element over here, and because of this element it is plus q and this is minus q charge. Definitely there will be electric force in this direction, electric field will be in this direction. Now if I am considering dipole moment of this, obviously dipole moment will be in which direction? This direction. This is p bar and this is e bar. We are dealing with dipole moment, forget about this e bar, take only p bar. P bar is upward. Now take very small element over here, right? This element also has charge dq and this element also has extension d pi. D pi angle is subtended over here. Now because of this, dipole will be in which direction? This direction, p bar. Okay, and this is dp bar. Let me make it clear. Because of very small element, dipole moment is dp bar. Now this dp bar and dp bar below, both are in opposite direction. So what should I do? I need to resolve them into components. This is one component and this is another component, right? This angle, I can consider it as pi. So I am considering this angle also as pi. Okay. Similarly, this is making an angle pi. I'm sorry, this is angle pi. So you can resolve this, right? One is dp into cos pi and this is dp sin pi. Okay, and here it is minus of dp sin pi and this is dp cos pi. Okay, I check it up. This angle and this angle would be same. This is pi, so obviously this also will be pi. I'm sorry. So dp cos pi will be left over. Dp sin pi gets cancelled. These things we have already learned in the previous part of electric field. Don't confuse over this. Now what is net dipole? In order to get net dipole, what you need to do? You need to integrate. Now when you are integrating, you need to take only horizontal components because all vertical components gets cancelled. So therefore integration dp into cos pi, right? So if you integrate this total, you will be getting net dipole moment. So that is integration of what is dp? dp is equal to dq into separation. Separation is nothing but r. Okay, between two charges, separation is r, right? So dipole dp can be written as it is dq into r, and what is left over? Cos pi is left over. So p bar is equal to r is constant, dq I can write it as integration q divided by pi into d pi into cos pi. Q by pi is also constant. You can write it outside. Q r divided by pi integration cos pi d pi will be sin pi. Okay, integration cos pi d pi will be sin pi, and this is final dipole moment. It is q r divided by pi into sin pi. Right? So one thing I should do, I did not substitute limits over here. Now this is x-axis, right? From x-axis here to here angle will be plus pi by 2, and from here to here it is minus pi by 2. Just substitute the limits over here. It is minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. You can substitute those limits. When you substitute limits, what do you get? You will be getting qr divided by pi into sine of pi by 2 minus of sine of minus pi by 2. So sine 90 will be equal to 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So this is 2qr divided by pi. This is dipole moment for extended dipoles. If one of the charge is semicircular arc. Okay. Similarly, if it is not semicircular arc, what you will do? Just change the angle. So what you will do? Simply you will cut this into two parts. Right? Total angle, if it is theta, this will be theta by 2 and this will be theta by 2. Minus theta by 2 to plus theta by 2. Just substitute the limits over here. Everything will be common up to this equation. Only leftover will be substitution of these angles. Upper limit and lower limit. Those angles, if you substitute properly, you will be getting net dipole moment because of those extended charges. Right. We have learned how to find out electric dipole moment for extended charges. Now we are going to find out electric dipole moment, net dipole moment due to multiple dipoles. So due to different dipoles, you can find out electric dipole moment. So when you are finding out electric dipole moment, you need to, like, more than 2 number of charges may be there, but their magnitude should be equal. And don't forget the condition of dipole, like 2 charges should have equal magnitudes and the separation between those 2 charges should be equal if you are taking 2 dipoles. And remember that one is positive and the other one is negative charge. Now let me take here, there are 4 charges and all their magnitudes are equal, but they are with opposite signs. Okay. Now you can form some more than 2 number of dipoles in this. Now let me clearly mention which are satisfying the conditions for dipoles, right? So first, one is positive and the other one is negative. So these 2 charges will form one dipole and its dipole moment is in this direction. Let me consider it as P1. Next, with this plus Q charge, this minus Q will be forming one more dipole and that dipole is in this direction and it is P2. Okay. One is P1 and the other one is P2. Now check it up. This one is not satisfying the condition for a dipole. This is not the dipole because one is positive charge and the other one is also positive charge. Both are positive charges. It cannot form one dipole. Right? Similarly, minus Q plus Q. You can consider this as one dipole. Definitely it will be P1, but it is minus. So minus Q2 plus Q2. And this can be P2. And if it is positive, then you should take it as negative. Take any one charge as the reference. In order to find out net dipole, take any one charge as the reference and find out how many dipoles are forming with respect to that particular charge. So here, if you are taking this A as the reference, there are 2 dipole moments with respect to A. Similarly, if you are taking B as the reference, you are getting same 2 dipoles, P1 and P2. Now you can find out net dipole moment taking reference as A or reference as B. So if you are taking reference as B, same dipole moment you will be getting for A also. So don't take A and B simultaneously and add them. That becomes wrong. So only one charge as the reference you take, right? So this one I am erasing because I am not taking it as the reference. Right? These are the 2 dipoles formed, P1 and P2. Now how do you write P1? Excuse. P1 can be written as, let me take this separation as A, this separation as A. P1 is equal to Q into A, and this is in which direction? Minus I cap. That is P1. Next, what about P2? P2 is equal to Q into, separation between 2 charges is A, and this is minus J cap. Okay, these 2 are the vectors. How do you write P net? P net will be equal to minus of QA into I cap plus J cap. Simply take vector notations. This is net vector. This is P net, net vector. And what about the direction of these two vectors? Simply form one parallelogram law. This will be the resultant vector. This is P net. Obviously, this total angle is 90. So then it will be 45 degrees. This also 45 degrees. You can take any axis, either x-axis or y-axis as the reference. So net dipole moment will be making an angle of 45 degrees with respect to x or y-axis. This is P net. Or if you want to find out P magnitude, what you will do? Simply take down this QA whole square plus QA whole square plus minus of QA into cos of, what is angle between these two? Cos 90. Cos 90 will be however 0. So this total part becomes 0. What is left over? Remained is this. So P magnitude will be equal to QA square plus QA square, that is root 2 times QA. This is the magnitude. And what about direction? Direction you can take it as tan pi, which is equal to 1. Obviously this is 45 degrees. From figure you can check it up. So tan pi will be equal to 1. This is equal to tan 45. So therefore pi will be equal to 45 degrees. So dipole vector, net vector is making an angle of 45 degrees with respect to either x-axis or y-axis. Suppose if these two vectors are making another angles, it may be 60, 30, 40. What you'll do? Simply use parallelogram law of vectors and find out the resultant magnitude. And after that you can use tan pi for directions. That gives you the direction of the net dipole moment. So let us take one more example. We have three different charges, plus Q, plus Q, plus Q, situated over there. And here minus 3Q is the single charge, which is sharing its charge with all these three charges. Okay. So what I do, I'll write this minus 3Q as three individual charges, 1, 2, and 3. It is having minus Q charge. This is having minus Q charge. This is having minus Q charge. So minus 3Q can be distributed as 3-point charges. Each minus Q charge is sharing its charge to form a dipole with one particular plus Q charge. So because of these two, there is one dipole. Let me take it as P1. And because of these two, there is one dipole. It is P2. Now because of these two, there is one dipole. It is P3. Right? So these are the three different dipoles formed, P1, P2 and P3. Clear? Three dipoles are formed. Suppose if here it is minus 2Q charge, three dipoles cannot be formed. Only two dipoles can be formed. Okay, for example, if this is minus 2Q charge over there. If it is minus 2Q, this plus Q cannot form a dipole. Corners plus Q charges will be, like I'll show you here. It is 2Q, for example, minus 2Q. And this is plus Q. This is plus Q. And you have one more plus Q. Now as it is minus 2Q charge, this forms one dipole P1. This forms one dipole P2. And this will not form any dipole because there is only 2Q charge. 2Q is already shared with this charge and as well as this charge. So if there are as many number of charges even, there will not be any dipoles formed. So remember that thing. Now here we have three dipoles, P1, P2 and P3. What I need to do, first find out the resultant of these two vectors, P1 and P3, right? P1 and P3 are making an angle of 90 degrees. So I will write it as P13, which is equal to P1 square plus P2 square under root cos 90 will be 0. That is P13. And P13 will be in which direction? Obviously P13 will be in this direction. Now P13 and P2 both are in same direction. So I can write it as P net is equal to P2 bar plus P13 bar. This is the final net dipole moment formed because of those three charges. Clear?